LabCoatAgents podcast.
What does the porn industry have in common with the real estate industry? If that doesn't catch your attention, nothing will. Let me tell you what does. When web marketing started, these are the two industries that really jumped in and pounced. And our guest today runs a company that is a Google Ads PPC specialist. They dominate when it comes to helping you dominate on Google. And it was interesting because we were just having a conversation off the air, which, by the way, this was his that was his analogy, and I'm the one stealing his thunder now. But he was talking about how the big players in real estate actually dominate the Google searches, and he was doing his own homework behind the scenes, and then starting to realize, oh wait, there's actually a ton of opportunity. It's not just the big players that are dominating. And now we're going to share that with you today. So for those of you that are sick and tired of the Zillows of the world and want to go out and build some leads, some sources through Google, which we all know is one of the most powerful sources that exists in this world, you're going to want to listen to this one. So welcome to the show, Joe. How do I pronounce your name again? Khoei. Awesome. Yes, Joe. You just rapped with me for 15 minutes and now we're going to give it to our audience. And I'm excited. I'm excited to hear more. Let's start with this. Tell me a little bit about your background and then let's get right into it so we can bring some value today.
Sure. I appreciate it, Jeff. Thanks for the intro. So my background is that I studied engineering and then I saw that the salespeople were having all the fun and making all the money. So I got my MBA and got into sales. And I did some software sales, and then the mortgage industry was hot, so I got into mortgage sales, and then I got a job as an account executive with Countrywide for their A paper, just disclaimer. But that became Country Fried, and I jumped back into software. And then 2010, I started SalesX. And SalesX I started because I wanted people to have more sales. That's why it's called SalesX and not Marketing X or Advertising X. And then I noticed that the people that didn't have any sales, they didn't have good websites. So I was like, I'm an engineer. I'll figure out how to do their website. So I did their websites. Then they needed SEO. So I'm like, okay, I'll do their SEO. Then they needed PPC to beat the incumbents in SEO. So I said, I'll figure that out. So anyway, long story short, we started really scaling our PPC operations. This is a couple of years in from 2010. So about 10 years ago. And now we're one of the premier partners, and we're 3 times winners of the US Search Awards for Best Agency. We just won it in 2022. We had won it in 2019 and 2016. So every 3 years we've been winning the Best Agency accolade and so on. But I saw that your audience is real estate agents and mortgage brokers, and for a long time I've been thinking about real estate and mortgage because I know a lot of people in that industry, and I know that the dominating force are kind of the real estate vertical players like the Zillows of the world, the Redfins of the world, the big fish with deep pockets. They can dominate those, and if as an individual agent, if you want to get some leads, you got to kind of buy it from them. The problem, I'm kind of not stopping for a breath here because I want to give as much value as possible.
Keep going.
If you want to jump in, please cut me off.
Yeah, no, keep going.
The challenge with buying leads from those kinds of sources is that those leads are A, very fickle, and B, they're very short time, right? I remember when I was in the mortgage, we used to buy it from the Dancing Cowboy, kind of lower my rates guys.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then those guys would sell those leads to like 5 different agents, mortgage people.
Yep.
And it was a race to the finish to see, can you call the person? But we were sitting like at the phone with the headset. We weren't out and about pushing the flesh, meeting people. We were just like, that was my job, was like, get the lead, call them as fast as possible, and then follow up with your old dead leads, if you missed that one. Well, I don't know if Zillow is selling exclusive leads or if they're selling them to a bunch of people, but even if they were selling them as an exclusive lead, that lead would still only be good for about 5 minutes, because a person that's going to go fill out the form on Zillow, they're probably going to go fill out the form on a bunch of other places too. So even if the seller is not selling it to a bunch of people, a bunch of different platforms are getting the same lead and sending them to their own buyers, and then people are calling. So the web lead is fickle. It's not going to last long. You might not even get a pickup on the call. It might be fake. It might be spam, those kinds of things. And I know you can get credit for that kind of stuff, but nevertheless, things that are now what I'm seeing, at least in our own industry, is that people don't want to give their information in order to get something. People are just used to getting stuff. They don't want to give something first in order to get it. So for us, when we were generating leads, we would have these like really cool, very informative secret sauce how-to stuff for Google Ads. And then we would have it in a really fancy PDF behind the gate, and we would want the people to fill out the form to get the document, get the PDF. And you see that all over the web. We decided to turn that on its head. Said, all right, forget about it. Let's just give the PDF for free, for nothing. We don't get anything for it. We just we show you all the eye candy, and if you want it, you click download and you download the PDF, and we ask you for nothing. And what we noticed is that actually our conversions for people that got the PDF, presumably that got the PDF, read it, and then came back and filled out the form afterwards, went up like 500%. So it's the old art of the to quote Robert Cialdini, is like one of the principles of influence is the principle of give and take and take. So you're giving it, but then they're coming back on their own, and we just saw the leads bump up. So I was thinking, all right, well, if I'm going to talk to Jeff, how is this going to be relevant to the real estate industry? And I started doing a little bit of research on my old assumptions, and I found something interesting, which actually I'm going to share with you. Let me share my screen real quick.
Yeah, please. So, and if you're not watching this, Joe, just kind of do a good job of you doing your radio voice and painting the picture for them.
Sure, I'll describe it. So basically, you have to have a Google Ads account, and you have to have, you can't get access to this information just out of the blue. But once you have a Google Ads account, you could actually go in, you know how to use it, blah, blah, blah. You could actually go in there and do some keyword research. And what I did is I threw in just some handful of keywords. I got house for sale, home for sale, apartment for sale, condo for sale, home for sale, San Jose, house for sale, San Jose. And then I also did some other stuff that you would think it's kind of more attractive, which is listing agent, best listing agent near me, those kinds of things. And what I found is that these keywords like home for sale, condo for sale, or house for sale, those are getting a lot of searches every month. So home for sale is getting 450,000 searches every month with medium competition. Condo for sale is getting 100,000, 90,500. House for sale is 673,000. So that's already, about 1.2 million searches a month just for those three keywords: condo for sale, house for sale, home for sale. Okay. Now we say, okay, great, but Zillow, Redfin, all those players that are coming up, because I actually did a quick search. I'll show it to you on my screen. I did a SFR, single family residence for sale in San Jose. And the first four results were homes.com, redfin.com, movoto.com, and realtor.com. Okay. And then the organic results were the same players: Redfin, Realtor, Zillow, Movoto, Trulia, Compass. So the small individual agent doesn't really stand a chance there. But when you look at the actual data, it paints a different picture, because it's saying, look, top of the page bid, low range and high range. Some of the low range stuff for the home for sale type keywords, not the listing agent keywords, those are pretty expensive. But these other keywords, some of them are as low as like a quarter, 25 cents. I mean, it's kind of unheard of. I don't know if anybody can get any clicks on Google for 25 cents anymore, but here's Google's own data saying, look, top of the page bid is between 25 cents and $3. So in theory, if I'm a real estate agent or a mortgage broker in San Jose, I can add mortgage, see what that says, like mortgage broker San Jose. Yeah, let's see if they'll add some more numbers. Yeah, not that many, 70. So mortgage is lower, but people are wanting to buy homes. So if it's a house for sale keyword, and I'm saying house for sale San Jose, and it's given 10,000 searches a month on average, and the cost is 30 cents. Well, the houses around here, if you can live in a shack for like $1.5 million around here. So 3% on $1.5 million, that's a good chunk of change. So the clicks, if you can get them somewhere between 30 cents to $1, $1.50, which is kind of midway point of this low and high range. Well, there's a lot of tricks not tricks, but skills that can be deployed in that kind of a situation. For example, somebody that comes to your website, they don't have to fill out the form. They don't have to subscribe. They don't have to enter anything. The instant they come into your website, the system cookies their browser. It means the system, your ad system, your Google ad system knows who they are on the web. Well, there's a product in Google Ads which is called remarketing or retargeting. What you could do is you could actually retarget those people. You could retarget them and kind of, you've seen there's retargeting where you're showing ads in display areas, or you could actually retarget showing ads in search areas, or there's even dynamic retargeting. So if somebody's like on your website and they click on something that says looking for a home or looking for a condo or looking for whatever, you could then retarget home stuff. You could retarget target stuff. If they click on, I'm looking for a listing agent, you could retarget for listing agents. And so for, I don't know, $1,000, couple of $1,000, you could have 1,000 people or a couple of thousand people or more. I mean, if you can get them for 30 cents, then hallelujah. That you're retargeting to with these specific messages and getting them to call you instead of you trying to call them. So that's like one strategy that could work. And I think it's just, it's a function of finding the right keywords that are high volume searches and low cost, which looks like, and at least, for people that are on the web and they're seeing what's going on here, you could see, I kind of blow up the size here. You could see that there are some pretty good volume stuff. Now, I don't know where you are.
St. Louis.
St. Louis. So if I say house for sale St. Louis, let's see what the volume is there, because
respell that. Louis.
House for sale St. Louis.
There you go.
Okay. Sorry, now I'm showing my spelling skills in front of you.
Well, you were San Luis, which is more of a California town, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So 3,600 at 23 cents. It's even cheaper, right? Yeah. I mean, you have fewer searches, but the cost per search is, instead of 30, is 23, and the top end, instead of 270, is $1.62. So again, you could get those cheap clicks. And listen, if this is what Google search is costing, then Google video is infinitely cheaper than this. So you could advertise on YouTube for those same keywords and then remarket the same way. And you could remarket on YouTube. YouTube is the second largest search engine behind Google.
Yeah.
So, and then basically you have your own source of data, because right now, if I click on one of these, okay, and I fill out a form, then realtor.com has the data. And then they're selling it to you.
Yeah.
but they're doing the remarketing. So remarketing has a 7x higher closing rate than just the first time somebody clicks something. Because I click this, I go, I get distracted, I get hungry, I go get a drink, somebody calls me, I look at these other 800 tabs that's open, and then I forget. But then remarketing is like, oh, you're still searching for the same thing? Let me show you this, let me show you this, let me show you this. So they're leveraging the remarketing. So your $30 that went for a lead, I don't know how much leads cost these days, but whatever you're paying for a lead, let's say it's $30. It could have got you 100 clicks for remarketing, and then you can remarket to those people for 90 days, as much as you want. And those remarketing things, they're for free. They're free to show, because this is a PPC, stands for pay per click. So when you see a display ad, let's say I see a display ad for SalesX. If I open a tab and I go to salesx.com, right? That didn't cost anything because I didn't actually click.
Mm-hmm.
I just went that in analytics, that shows as a direct, right? I just went in, I typed in salesx.com. So remarketing is kind of like having your billboards, but those billboards are only showing to people looking for what you're selling in your area that you advertised. So it's not like the billboard that I see, the guy that paid 15 grand, because that's how much billboards cost around here. I see a real estate agent. It's like, let this be your first call. It's paying 15 grand a month for that billboard, but everybody's seeing it. I'm not in the market to buy a house, but I'm seeing the billboard just the same. And frankly, it's annoying. But these people, they're in the market to buy a house. So why not just show them the billboard?
Yeah.
That's the power of remarketing. That's the power of kind of internet marketing instead of kind of out of doors marketing. Of course, out of doors marketing is amazing. I'm not knocking that.
Well, let me ask you a couple questions. First of all, I want to get a little bit deeper in the weeds on this, just because I know everybody knows what these terms mean at this point, but I don't think a lot of people really understand how to execute it. But before I ask you that question, I want to go back to what you said, which is very powerful, and that is, it's become so common, almost to the point of, I would call it spam in our industry, which is, those landing pages where, get a list of the foreclosures, and you get this list of, homes for sale, or, get this, get that, whatever. And then it directs the consumer to a page where they have to put in their name and their email and their phone number. And you're right. Like, we're becoming a society that is completely turned off by that. And ads or we're getting turned off by all this stuff because, we're being marketed to when we didn't ask to be marketed to. And so when you were talking about that strategy of giving something away for free, which I love, and we do it with one of our social media businesses, and we found it to be very successful in creating engagement. But talk a little bit more to that, because as an agent, I think we're so trained to do it a certain way, and frankly, it's becoming prehistoric at this point. But that concept of, hey, just come up with free stuff to give people, and now you've got an attraction-based marketing strategy versus, really kind of getting slimy with these people and turning them off.
Right. The idea is that the information is pretty available these days, right? And as the younger and younger generation become more and more savvy, they're just not going to want to provide their personal information in exchange for some information, because they get it somewhere else for free.
Mm-hmm.
Just dig it up from somewhere else. If not this guy, then this guy.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea is to have some really high-end, provocative, maybe not provocative in that sense, but high value, high production value, and high content value material that you're putting together that then you're just giving away for free. Okay, and the idea is the principle of influence, which was by Professor Cialdini out of Arizona State. He did professor of psychology. He did this. He wrote a book called Influence, and he came up with 5 factors of influence, and one of them is called reciprocation. And so the reciprocation, the way he said it in his book is funny. It's like, give and take and take and take. And so the idea here is that you're giving away this really high value product, but you make the product once and you're giving it to 1,000 people. So your cost per person comes down every time somebody downloads this. And then in exchange, now you've built this goodwill with 1,000 people, and they're saying to you, oh wow, that looks really amazing, but I don't think I can do that. I'm going to need Joe to do that for me. And so since we've done that, we've seen a lot more people actually converting on our regular forms, not on any kind of a download form. Just people come to our website and they just fill it out and they send it in. But we're seeing lots and lots of people are downloading the other piece for free. So it's kind of building a relationship over the web by providing something of really high value, free of charge, which is an old sentiment. This is nothing new. It's just a matter of the execution of it. And for the execution part of it, there are actually several ways of doing that for kind of the guerrilla marketer in your crowd that don't have the resources or don't have necessarily the team or the money. First of all, you could do, share my screen again. You could have your own copywriter via this Jasper. Okay, you go to Jasper and you subscribe to it. It's pretty cheap. I don't know how much it is, but Jasper has these templates and you could write copy, and it's AI, right? So you can have artificial intelligence. You can rewrite copy. You can write new copy, whatever it is. So it's pretty compelling. You could take something, summarize it. Like I had, we have a service where we provide. Google has something called Google Grants. They provide up to $10,000 a month in free clicks to nonprofits. And we have a page, salesx.com/grants, which is a service where we provide Google Grants. We help people acquire the Google Grants, and then we run the grants account for them. Well, I took the content from that page, which started from here. I just copied all of this and I pasted it into Jasper, and I said, give me an executive summary. And it just gave me this summary, a bullet list of 4 bullets. And it's amazing. It was so spot on. It was just blew my mind. So you don't need to be kind of an English language major or have an English language major on your payroll. You could just run it through Jasper, or you could run it through Upwork. And once you have the content, you could have kind of people on Upwork actually do the design work for you. Or if you have templates, you could actually download the template for anything these days. You go to template sites, download the template, paste the content in there, send it to your local print, or save it as a PDF, and it's done. You have the product. You're not even paying for any printing. The whole thing costs you practically nothing.
Yeah.
And now you have this really cool product that you're going to allow people to download for free. And now it's just a question of, where do I get relevant people that would be interested in that? And that's where the Google Ads can come in handy.
Which is my next question, which is the execution piece. So, I mean, you showed the back end here where at first it was, oh gosh, the big boys dominate, the little guy has no chance. But then it was, oh wait, there actually is a lot of opportunity here. So when you're looking at, homes for sale in San Jose or any market for that matter, and the price on the low end is really inexpensive, 25 cents, 30 cents, whatever. So what's the next piece to that? So somebody who, we all know Google, we all understand how it works, but I don't think many of us understand how to actually execute on it. So give us the basic version, the layman's term version for those of us that are, I'll just label myself as the idiot in the room. How do I go out and execute on this?
Yeah, we can all be idiots when it comes to some of these sophisticated advertising platforms, for sure. So Google actually gives away a $500 get started type thing for free, coupon for their Google ads. Okay. And then for somebody that just wants to get started in Google advertising, they also have people from Google that will call you and help you set up something. Now, you can't really expect to get astonishing results from that, A, because you're not paying for the help, and B, because the people that called you from Google, they're in a revolving door, right? So they're just trainees, and Google's given the $500 and these guys are helping you with the setup. And if you stay with them for a month, you're going to have 5 different people, that you've talked to, because they're just going through a revolving door.
Yeah. It's almost like a call center.
Yeah. But at least, exactly. But at least they will get your feet wet, and it didn't cost you anything. Well, it cost you some time, right?
Yeah.
It's going to take a little bit of time. For those of you, you would need, of course, you would need like the website or a landing page that's specific, that has the download product. So it's a little bit like it can't be completely ninja, like free of charge, unless you can roll up your sleeves and do that stuff yourself, right? But for example, my mom is a real estate agent. Prior to that, she was in mortgage from like 1997 till 2006. Or no, 2016. So she was in mortgage for a long time, and since 2016, she's been in real estate. And she can't do any of this stuff herself. She just can't, right? She doesn't have the patience to even read through a pop-up before she clicks on it. She's just like, her computer kept crashing, and I sat behind her. I'm like, how does your computer keep crashing? And I noticed that she's just clicking on all the pop-ups. I'm like, what are you doing? Don't click that. you gotta read it before you click anything on it. So there are a lot of people in that way, and those people will need help. Okay, and for those people, there are agencies that do small mom and pop shop type campaigns and stuff, and they can be effective. So they can go look that up, find some agencies, just ask some questions like, where are your people? Are they in the US? That's like the primary thing, right? Because you don't want an agency that's just a scorched earth type agency. The other question they can ask an agency is, are you a reseller for Google? So there are agencies like, I don't know, like Yodel used to be, White Shark Media is another one. There are some agencies that they're actually resellers. So their best interest is not in alignment with the client's best interest, because the more clicks they sell to the client, the more they get from back end from Google. So you don't want to work with an agency that's a reseller. So the Google charge should go on the credit card as a Google charge, and then the agency charge should go on a credit card as an agency charge. Like Yellow Pages is notorious for that, right? Yellow Pages will say, yeah, we'll charge you $5,000 a month for digital advertising, and your $5,000 is gone regardless of what you get or what you don't get, and there's never any leftover, and the data that you get is minimal. So what you need to do is you need to do some kind of qualifiers as to how do I pick a good agency. And maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll write that up on a quick note, and then I'll post it at salesx.com. And what's the name you want after the slash?
LabCoatAgents or LCA, either one.
Yeah, I could post it at LabCoatAgents or LCA, whichever one you want.
Yeah, I think LabCoatAgents. If you can spell it out, it's a little longer, but it's yeah.
That's fine. I'll put lab-code-agents. So I'll do that. salesx.com/LabCoatAgents on how to pick a really great entry-level agency.
It's great. So let me ask you this. So if somebody's listening to this and they're thinking to themselves, okay, it starts with obviously attracting them in with something. I understand the concept, but then I'm essentially going to be one of two things. I assume when somebody is let's just say they're clicking on the free data, the free marketing piece, the free whatever educational piece that you're giving to them, are you cooking them at that point?
No, Google cookies them.
So not only is it effective in the sense that people are actually coming back because, you're basically giving them something for free, but you also have that potential benefit of then turning back around and retargeting them. So if somebody says, all right, I really want to go down this path of doing this, and I want to test this out, because 25 cents, 30 cents, even $1 a lead, it's worth trying. I'm willing to
As
throw
a dollar a click.
$1 a click. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm willing to throw, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 at this to see if it works, but they're going to have a series. It's a series of sequence that has to take place here. There's the free stuff. Then there's obviously if you're going to retarget, like how can you walk me through what that would look like? And then we'll end it there, because I really want people to go check you out if they're interested. But can you walk them through what that looks
Yeah,
like?
sure. So for one, they need a website, right? And then the agency that they're going to choose is hopefully going to create a landing page for them, right? So if they don't have a website, that's where they need to start. They need to have some sort of web presence. Once they have the website, then the agency will create what's called a landing page. A landing page, it replaces the www. So right now, if your website is www.mywebsite.com, then it becomes connect.mywebsite.com, or whatever whatever you want that will replace the www. And what that does is it acts as a separate area where you can send the paid clicks to, because on a website you send a click, it dissipates kind of the value of the click. People can get distracted, your website could be crappy, whatever. But a landing page is designed to really attract people and drive them towards the product, in this case whatever is free. So then you need the product. So you could say, a quick quiz on buying guide, like, look, here's your checklist for preparing your home for sale. Here's top 10 things to look for in a new agent. Whatever it is that you want to have some sort of a product for download, like a free download, right? So now you have the website, you have the landing page, you have the free download, and then you also have like a call tracking number on the website, because if people start to make that call, you want to know like that, where that call came from, what click caused the call. You're tracking all this stuff. That's the beauty of buying clicks, is that you're getting all of this data that you wouldn't otherwise ever get. When somebody calls you, you don't know why they called you. How did this guy call me? It's just, but on the website, if you have a tracking number, and that stuff doesn't cost, like, it hardly costs anything at all. We give it for free. The landing page and the call tracking stuff at Sellsix, we just do it for people because we have like wholesale accounts, and it doesn't behoove us to nickel and dime our clients. So there's call tracking, then there's a form on there, and then there's a free download. And so if somebody comes in, they end in the landing page, which is designed to close them. If they fill the form or make the call, great. That's already a conversion. That's an inbound lead. Wonderful. You don't have to pay Zillow. You just got the lead. If they don't, they can click on the free download. But regardless, once they land on the page, the free download then gives them value. It's like, wow, I really like the stuff Joe gave me. I'm just going to give him a call. What the hell? He must know what he's talking about if he's educating me about all this. And this is a really high-end product. So the free download builds credibility. It's the give, right? Even if they don't need the free download, they could also call or form fill. But even if they don't do any of that, they don't call, they don't form fill, and they don't do the free download, they do nothing. They just ended on your website, they took a look and they left, said later. Now Google system, your Google Ads system is cookied their browser. And now you know where they are for the next 90 days. You could show them your ads. You could say, hey, maybe have an ad for that free download. Maybe they couldn't find it afterwards. They're like, oh, I clicked somewhere, but I don't know where it was. Now it's like, okay, here it is. Or maybe they're talking to their friends. There's like, oh, I saw a top 10, I saw a list for doing XYZ, but I don't know where it was. But then they see the ad. It's kind of like you go to Amazon, you see something, and then later you see the same thing. And you're like, oh yeah, I forgot to buy that. Simple Human garbage can. I think I'm just going to get it now. And then you either go back to simplehuman.com and get it, or you click on the ad and you get it from Amazon, or you go back to Amazon and buy it. But either way, Simple Human just made a sale. Maybe you didn't pay for that extra click, but the sale happened because there was that retargeting. So really that's, and then you need a budget for this stuff, and you need some patience, right? This is not, guys and ladies and gents, this is not a magic trick. Okay? There is no magic trick. If there was a magic trick, I'm 53 years old, I probably could have found out at least a hint on it. It doesn't exist. So it's all of this stuff requires time and patience and skills to build it up and build it out, and then execute it, and then make tweaks, right? You're going to get clicks that you didn't want. You're going to get leads that are junk leads, this and that. But there might be, you might get 20 leads and 15 of them are junk, but if 5 of them are good and you close 1 of them and your cost per lead is even $50, okay, out of the 15, you might have paid $750, but you got 1 deal. You got 1 deal and it cost you $750. So that's a good ratio, because it depends, but I don't think a sale, and like if you get a deal in real estate, your commission is going to cover well over $750. So that's fine. But I would say that those are the elements. You need a good agency, website, landing page, call tracking, and the download asset, and then the ability to do remarketing, retargeting, in addition to just Google ads and display ads. You also want to do these really highly skilled remarketing and retargeting ads. And I can just finish by saying that the remarketing, retargeting ads can be further chopped down. This thing can be sliced and diced like 30 different ways. It could be day of the week, hour of the day, sex, gender, age, device. All of this stuff can be sliced and diced. When the lead comes in, you're like, oh, all the junk leads are people from 18 to 24, so let's not advertise to those guys. All the mediocre leads are from 55 to 65 and 70 plus. Let's not advertise to those. All the hot leads are from like 25 to 35. Let's go after that segment. Or my cost per lead, like $50 on Mondays and Tuesdays. Wednesdays goes to 90. Friday goes to 130. And Saturday is like $200. So let's get all the leads we can on Wednesday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. And let's not spend $130 for a lead if we can get it for 50. So there's all these things that you could do with ads, because you have all the data about the people that clicked on the ad. Yeah, so then it takes a little bit of time to hone in on that data and get the results that you want. And that's where we go back to, it's not a magic trick comment, because all of this work, you're building a foundation, and you need to be able to kind of budget for that. So let's say if your budget is $5,000 a month for ads, and it's another, let's say $500 for the agency fee. Let's say it's $4,500 for the ads, $500 for the agency fee, for $5,000. You got to say, all right, $5,000. I'm going to give this 3 months minimum and hopefully 6 months. So I want to put $30,000 aside and go after this channel. And maybe after that, I don't need to buy any more leads from Zillow. I don't know how much Zillow leads cost now, but you can keep track of your costs, keep track of your closing rate, keep track of your response rate, those kinds of things, and then do a return on investment or a break-even analysis and say, all right, well, here's an experiment. It's going to cost this much. I'm going to go for it or not go for it. The worst thing you could do is just say, oh, I'm going to put my last $3,000 into this, and if it doesn't work, that's it. I'm eating plain bread for 6 months. Don't do that. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that right now. You don't need to try it to figure it out. I'll tell you right now, it's not going to work. So yeah.
I love it. I love it. So let me say the site that you're going to build out for our audience again was salesx.lab-coat-agents.com.
No, it's salesx.com/lab-coat-agents.
Got it. Sales
agents plural. Yeah. Is it plural agents?
Yes.
Yeah. So salesx.com/, LabCoatAgents.
And there's a dash in between lab and coat.
Yeah, or I could not put the dash. Which do you prefer?
Yeah, just put it all together. Let's do that.
Yeah, just one word, LabCoatAgents.
I love it. I love it. And now
/ LabCoatAgents, no dashes.
perfect. And well, so obviously they've got that. If somebody says, you know what, I'm even beyond that, Joe. I want to learn more. I want to learn more about SalesX. Where can they do that?
They could just go to salesx.com. It's fine. We have stuff in there that will educate people about our methodology, our kind of philosophy. I have this business value of advertising technology thought that I've been thinking about for a bunch of years, and have written up and figured out the formulation as to what are all the different things you could do with ad tech. It could be fun reading if it's not a lot. It's just, it's fun. But salesx.com, it's SALESX.com. So, and if you guys need to reach me, you can just hit me up at joe@salesx.com. And
that's awesome. I noticed that you're friends with Fred Valais.
Yeah,
I've interviewed him before. He's another brilliant mind about Google. He's a good guy.
Yeah, Fred's on our board. We he and I go back a long way. When he left Google, we hired him to create some automation for SalesX, and then we ended up buying his agency and making him our CTO. And then we built a bunch of technology based on what he taught us, and then he built Optimizer based on the work we were doing. So we're pretty hand in hand with Frederick.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Joe, this has been very enlightening, man. I really appreciate you. This is Google is always the big anomaly that it's the big scary monster. Everybody knows it well and knows that it's probably the place to be, and they just don't have the vehicle to do it. And not only did you educate them on that, but you've got that vehicle that they could potentially use. So I appreciate you, and I hope we stay in touch, man.
Thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you and your listeners, Jeff. I had fun. I could talk shop, anytime. And yeah, talk to you soon. I'll put that up before I'll probably punch it up right now. Not a big deal.
Awesome. I appreciate you, man.
Okay. Thanks. Take care. Bye.
LabCoatAgents Podcast.